Guys, this your girl Zesty, me and the Zesty Pooh crew. So today I'm going to be making like a sweet potato casserole. I'm going to use a brown sugar crumble, and I'm also going to top it off with some marshmallows. This thing is really good. So it's really good around like the fall, Christmas, anytime cold, and sometimes it's good paired with dinner. So let's get into this video. Okay, so for starters, I have 2 large sweet potatoes and then 1 really small one. I've already boiled and took the skin off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by smashing my sweet potatoes. And you want to make sure you boil them to fork tender. So that way it'll just be easier whenever you're mixing everything up. And sweet potatoes, they take a while. So you got to be patient with them. So I'm going to start out by just smashing these suckers up. So I was watching someone make sweet potato pies, and she was saying how to get the strings out of the sweet potatoes. Basically, what you do is you beat it up and you dip it in water. So I have some water back here. So I'm going to try this method and see. I don't have anything in the sweet potatoes either. And apparently, these are the strings. So I'm going to do this a couple of times so I can get as many strings as possible. She did it like 2 or 3 times. So I'm going to keep going. So I want to say I did the string method probably about 3 times, where I just simply beat it up. And then I just dipped it in water. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 cracked eggs, not scrambled. Do not scramble. 2 eggs. And I'm just going to mix this up real good. I probably should use a bigger bowl. FYI, use a bigger bowl. And you want to make sure that your sweet potatoes are thoroughly cooled before you do this, because if not, your eggs will scramble, and that is not what you're looking for. So now what I'm going to do, I nooked my stick of butter for a little bit. And then it just melted because I was trying to get my other ingredients off. So you want to make sure you put in a stick of softened butter. Don't melt it like I did. I'm making a pure D mess. I'm going to have sweet potatoes everywhere in this kitchen. But it's all good because it's going to be good in the hood. So now what you want to do is just cream in your butter. Now what I'm going to do is I have 2 tablespoons of white sugar. And then I have a ½ cup of, I didn't want to do that. All right. And then I have a ½ cup of brown sugar. And I'm just going to beat this in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, about a 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, and then I'm going to put about a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. I'm also going to add in my flavors, which I'm going to do about 2 teaspoons of vanilla flavor. And then I'm also going to put in about a teaspoon of lemon extract. And this stuff is really strong. I'm also going to put a tablespoon of maple syrup. And you could actually do this same measurements with like yams, or I don't know about sweet potato pie. I think sweet potato pie might cause for a little bit more sugar. Then I'm also going to add in a ½ cup of carnation milk. So, and I am going to measure this so that way I do not make a mistake. And if you need more, just gradually add it in. You don't want it to be soupy. So I've set the oven to 350 and I'm going to spray my casserole pan. I have a fairly small one. Got brown sugar in there. And I'm just going to give it a nice spray. So that way it doesn't stick. And then I'm just going to empty all my contents of the sweet potato mix. Try not to get any on the edges because you don't want it to burn. It's more of a softer in texture. I'm not even sure what size this is. I just call it my smaller casserole pan. And so you just want to get it in there, spread it in there really good. Make sure it's kind of evened out. And now we're going to make the crumble. All right. So let's spread it out really good. And now what I'm doing is measuring out a cup of chopped pecans, maybe a little more. I'm just going to use the rest of that bag. So about a cup and a teaspoon. It's not going to hurt anything. And I'm going to chop these up. They're already chopped up, but I'm going to chop them up some more with my knife. So like for more flavor, what you can do is you can toast your pecans for like a good 5 minutes in the oven. So, I didn't have time today because I'm filming more videos. So I just usually take my knife and just give it a rough chop. If they're already chopped and you like them fairly big, then just go ahead. But I like mine smaller in size. Just don't make a mess like I do, because I'm always making a mess, y'all. So for starters, I have my pecans here in my bowl. I'm going to put 1/3 cup of flour. And I'll leave the ingredients in the section. I mean, in the the description section. Now I'm just adding 2/3 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla flavor to my crumble. Make that 2. Why not? I love vanilla flavor. Can't get enough. So now I'm going to add some more cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice, just a tad bit. So I'm just going to put about a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of cinnamon, just because I like cinnamon. And then I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Now I'm going to hit it with 6 tablespoons of cold butter. And I'm just going to get my crumble going by mixing it in with a fork. So basically what you want to do is you just want to work your crumble. Don't melt your butter because it will make it into like a paste. You want it to stay a crumble. If you have a pastry cutter, use that because it'll be easier. I don't have a pastry cutter. I have a fork. So I'm just going to work it in until I see that my crumble has formed. So this is how your crumble should look. See that nice golden crumble? Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my hand and I'm just going to spread my crumble on there. Making sure that I don't leave any big lumps of butter or lumps of pecan clusters. I want it to be evenly distributed. So now I'm going to put this bad boy in the oven on 350 that I've already had heating up. And I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to give it 30 minutes and I'm going to check it. And then if it still needs to cook a little bit more, don't put the marshmallows on until last. We'll get to that. The marshmallows need to melt only for about like 5 or 6 minutes, if that. So we're going to put this bad boy in the oven and we're going to let it cook and we'll come back. So it's been about 30-35 minutes. This is where I'm going to hit it with my marshmallows. And I just really want enough marshmallows just to cover it. I don't want to go overboard because I don't want it to be way, way too sweet. Because I'm not really a sweet tea person. So I don't want it to be like overkill. I want it to be enjoyable. So I think that's probably about enough marshmallows. Because when they melt down, they're going to spread a little bit anyway. And I have the mini ones. Feel free to use the big ones. And just layer them just like so. Don't put them on top of each other. Just put them to where, you know, you have room. And so I'm going to put this back in the oven. I'm going to check it every 5 minutes. The most I'm probably going to leave this in there is probably 10 minutes, if that. So I'm going to put this back in the oven. So this is our pretty little sweet potato casserole shuffle. So I want to give y'all a close-up. Man, this looks bomb. I'm going to let it rest for a minute. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste test for you. Just for you. And in my son's Cam words, let's do this. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. So, it's good. One more. It's real good. From the bottom to the top. Look at that. I think I have to. Take a bite. It's sweet. It comes with the perfect amount of punch. It's not too sweet. I think I probably, the next time I make it, I think I'll probably add a little sea salt to it. But other than that, it's perfect. It's amazing. I really, really, really like it. I've made this before, but either I've made it either with the marshmallows or with the crumble. I've never done it together. Not that I can remember. I think one time I burnt the marshmallows on top, and we had to scrape the burnt part off. Other than that, it was the bomb. Yeah, I don't have a quote today. I don't have it in my hand. My other phone is dead. I apologize. So I'll just leave this with you. You know, continue trusting the process in spite of what it may look like. And just remember, the only way to get to is if you go through. So imagine yourself being in a tunnel and you have to go on through it unless you just want to stay there. But otherwise, mentally, see yourself going through. And, you know, pay attention to what's going on the inside of you, because that's what's important, is to pay attention to what's changing and what it is that needs to shift in your inside of you in order to be successful in the next level. That's very important too, because one thing I do know is that out of all the situations that I've been in, regardless of what they look like, it was something that needed to change within me, or something that I needed to see. So hopefully this encourages you. Hopefully you guys are continuing to love out loud, to love yourselves, to love each other. I love each and every one of you guys. And with that being said, peace out.